This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Man, I don't know what you put in your Cheerios this morning, but Jeff is in a randomly good mood this morning.
That really sounded like a Chuck Heinz song there at the beginning.
Yeah, right.
Just syllables thrown all over the place.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No.
I think even you could learn a lot of words to that opening there.
Oh man, that's a real challenge. This article makes me a little sad when I think about it. And we talked about this just a little bit yesterday, but Justin Verlander is going to retire at the end of the season, and so he is he's at 266 wins right now. And an article in The Athletic this morning says that may be it in terms of pitchers who get to 300 wins. In terms of somebody having a shot, that he's giving up the ghost on that for a career.
Okay.
It's not like he didn't give it a good run.
Oh no, he gave it a great run.
I mean, he's been pitching for a long time.
Yeah.
And has missed some significant time with injuries.
Yeah, and that was Mike Mussina's kind of thought, when both of them were at about the same mark at 225 or so wins, and he had decided he was going to give up the ghost. And he said, at the time, Verlander would have a shot, but an injury would do him in. And then he had the injury, then came back though and won a Cy Young, but has struggled here in recent years to stay healthy. There's just 24 pitchers that have reached 300 wins, and I guess when I look at this list, I mean, there's a number of them that I never saw pitch or whatever, but then you get to guys like Greg Maddux and Roger Clemens and Steve Carlton and Meyer. I saw him pitch. Nolan Ryan, Don Sutton, Phil Niekro, Gaylord Perry, Tom Seaver, Tom Glavine, Randy Johnson. So there's of the 24, 10, kind of in my age group's era that we're not going to see one in the future. To me that's a little sad.
Okay.
I mean, it's a longevity kind of deal. And some of those guys they worked hard to get there at the end, especially for Randy Johnson and Tom Glavine, but they got there. It was a struggle at the end for Seaver and even Perry, but he had 314. Niekro, Phil had 318. Sutton had 324, as did Nolan Ryan. But even Nolan Ryan in his last year, blowing out his arm in Seattle, and then couldn't come back from that. So, but I don't know. Just I saw that and went, oh, that's too bad. That was the case. I mean, you think about getting to 300. What about Cy Young? He was at 5'11". It's crazy.
Different era.
It's a different era, right? Completely. Even for Walter Johnson at 417, different era. Different time period and stuff like that. Anyway, that's just a thought that came to my mind. So I don't know, it just kind of made me go, oh man, that's too bad. We just probably not going to have anybody that gets to that spot. So well, that's a lot of pitching talk here early on for this show, isn't it? I started off with pitching talk and.
Yeah, let's talk about Big 12 moronic coaches instead.
Okay. Who tops the list for you? Is that Sonny Dykes?
He's getting up there. He's really getting up there. Yeah, his comments yesterday were rather comical as far as I'm concerned.
Luxury tax?
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the craziest conversations I've ever heard. It's just amazing to me how... I mean, let's face it. In the history of ever, the schools that have been the dominant blue bloods in college football have been spending more than everybody else, right?
Even when it wasn't legal.
Right, even when it wasn't legal. I mean, they may be spending it a different way, that their recruiting budgets were way more, or they what their players got and their facilities were much nicer and all of that. But suddenly now that's just like this hot topic. And because it's about paying the players, and it's just, I mean, do you think that Ohio State and Michigan are spending way more than some of the lower teams in the Big Ten?
Without question.
Okay, no question. Do you think that Alabama and Georgia and Texas are spending more than some of the lower teams in the SEC?
Yeah, like Vanderbilt? Yes.
Yeah. Are they having those conversations in their meetings?
Or will they when they get to their SEC media days?
Yeah. No.
No,
they won't. But there was a whole topic about how we got to change everything because Texas Tech is spending like those teams. Mm-hmm. It's almost as like these Big 12 coaches say, hey, you have to act like a Big 12 team, Texas Tech. You are not allowed to do what those monster powerhouses do. You're not allowed to do that. You have to act like us. And this whole conversation is about pulling everybody because everybody can't get to where we are financially. I don't think that. I mean, otherwise they would be, right?
Yeah, I mean, they laughed at Texas A&M, Texas laughed at folks from Texas Tech and Lubbock every time we brought up the Puff Fund and wanted some kind of equality there, or wanted a third of it, or part of it, or a piece of it, or something like that, so that there could be some kind of equality. I'm sorry, you weren't here when that was done, so sorry about you, so to speak. And TCU, I mean, what have we known about TCU? Well, they've over the years been able to buy whatever they want because they've had donors that have been able to kick things in. I mean,
and the funny part about TCU is, I mean, when it comes, if you're comparing towards other schools in the conference, towards other schools across the country, if you put it on baseball, their baseball is one of the best, most highly funded.
Yeah.
But their football is not top of top. They're still spending way more on football than baseball, but do you understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
Comparing them to other teams in their sport.
Yeah.
It's just funny how donors work. And it's the opposite here, right? Where football and softball is fully funded as it could possibly be, and other sports like baseball are not.
Yeah.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
2026 with This Day in Sports History. Here is Jeff McGuire.
Going to start us off in 1953 at the British Open. In his only Open Championship appearance, Ben Hogan prevails by 4 strokes over Dai Reese, Antonio Sedea, no way I'm getting these names right, Peter Thompson, and Frank Stranahan.
His only appearance.
His only Open appearance. Wow. Championship appearance.
Okay. Like British Open.
Yeah. His Open Championship. I think this is the only one he won. 1968. U.S. Major League Baseball announces it will split into 2 divisions for the 1969 season. And travesty occurred because we were changing baseball.
What other country has Major League Baseball?
Canada?
You said U.S. Major League Baseball.
Well, yeah.
Well, that actually, Canada's teams, they're a part of U.S. Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Well, they're not the United States.
But they are a part of our Major League Baseball.
And I think the Expos...
You could make the argument Japan has Major League Baseball.
I think the Montreal Expos came into existence in 1969.
Big time fast forward to 1999. FIFA Women's World Cup final in Pasadena, California at the Rose Bowl. U.S. beats China 5-4 on penalty kicks. U.S. wins their second World Cup. 2019, Kawhi Leonard signs a reported 3-year, $103 million contract with the Los Angeles Clippers. And in 2021, former Red Raider Daniel Colon gets his first win of the year in a relief, getting the Twins out of the 6th and 7th innings in a 9-4 win over the Tigers. It is Pick Blueberries Day and National French Fry Day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm not telling you what to have for lunch. I'm just saying it's National French Fry Day.
Seems like a good day.
Okay.
Before we get to today's birthdays, big one coming up tomorrow on a guy that's going to be sitting in Jamie Lent's chair. David Thedford turning 73 tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Way to go, David.
Today, Jessica Simpson is 46, Antonio Brown, 38, Andre Dawson, 72, Hal McRae, 81, Urban Meyer, 62, and Tommy Bowden is 72. And on this day, 1962, the United States Patent Office issues a Swedish engineer the patent for the 3-point automobile safety belt. Quote, for use in vehicles, especially road vehicles.
Would this include the shoulder strap? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
That would be the 3-point belt.
I think I don't think my first car that I bought had a shoulder strap. You know, not many in late 60s, early 70s did.
It's believable.
Yeah.
The 3-point safety belt was to prevent a lot of abdominal injuries in high-speed accidents.
Yeah.
And it has done a good job in that.
Yeah.
And that is a Stay in Sports History.
Stay in Sports History, 6:48 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Take your thoughts, comments. Yates Flooring Center chat line. The Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. Do you think Sonny Dykes is jealous of Texas Tech, that maybe goes back to how the program wasn't necessarily funded when his dad was the head coach?
I think that Sonny Dykes is probably getting a lot of pressure from his fan base. I mean, he continues to win 9 games a year, but can't get back anywhere close to where they were when they played in the national championship game. I think his fan base, he kind of set them up to believe that was, hey, we're a different team now. We can do this. We're a legitimate contender. And now they're not. And guess who is? And so I think that Texas Tech doing what Texas Tech's doing is putting extra pressure on him. And I think what all he's trying to say, I think as much of that about that in his comments is like to say to his fan base, I can't compete with that. We can't compete with Texas Tech. We're not going to be able to do that without more money. I think that he was just talking to his own people as much as he was talking to anybody else. That hey, we don't have a chance to compete, and he said that in the article.
Yeah,
we can't get back anywhere close to getting back to playing in a national championship game where we are. I mean that must thrill his fan base to hear.
It must, and and look, it was documented last year.
Now, is it realistic? Is he telling the truth? Probably. It would be an incredible shock for TCU to get there, right?
This year. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, I mean, there were other teams that outspent Texas Tech last year that didn't make the college football playoffs.
And he wants their money, too.
Right, but we understand it gives you the odds are much better for you.
Sure.
Right?
I mean, right.
Just like the Dodgers spending like they're spending is not guaranteeing them championships.
Right.
But it sure makes the margin for error a lot bigger.
Absolutely. But, I mean, this whole, it was just laughable to hear him talk about a luxury tax, Yeah,
that's the craziest thing.
Just laughable.
Ever. And he threw out Texas when he was talking about it. But I mean, it's just crazy to think that the fan base of Texas. Mm-hmm. I mean, his quote. If Texas wants to spend $50 million, pay $75 million and give $25 million to Iowa State and Kansas State. Like again, Sonny, you understand the money comes from their boosters, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so the boosters of Texas are going to pay money to Iowa State and Kansas State to make them better? Mm-hmm. That's just the dumbest thing ever. It's not Major League Baseball where it's all one, pot that they're working with in many regards, and as far as the league as a whole. And that's part of the problem when it comes to college football, is there's no sense of, hey, everything should be equal.
Yeah,
it's just different in college. You can't do that. You can't make the Texas boosters pay for Kansas State's football team.
No.
It's just so dumb. And the crazy part about it is, Chuck, he felt comfortable enough to say something like this in front of like his colleagues, because his colleagues are all like, we got to do anything we can to keep Texas Tech from being able to spend way more than us. That's really what this whole thing was about.
Yeah, which is, I mean,
Dave Aranda suggesting that when the College Football Playoff Committee takes into account who should be the 12, he's suggesting that, well, if Auburn and Baylor are the two that he's deciding between, and I'm just picking those two teams because they're playing at the beginning of the year. If they're deciding between the 12 team, he's basically saying if Auburn's working on a $30 million budget and Baylor's working on a $15 million budget, they should pick Baylor because they're doing more with less.
That's the dumbest thing ever.
That makes no sense. No, actually, I think what Dyke said is the dumbest thing ever, but this may be second.
Okay, it's right. Okay, it's right there.
Yeah. I mean, you people are just pulling stuff out of your backside. And again, it's all about, we got to stop Texas Tech from spending so much more than the rest of us.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about.
It's just crazy.
It's crazy. It's fun to be in our position.
Yeah.
And if we were in their position, which again, we've been for 1,000,000 years playing against Texas and A&M.
Yes.
Okay, but at no point did anybody have the guts to speak out loud as far as like, well, I don't know, I guess kind of what you're talking about with the puff fund, but like, they should have to pay to get our players too. Yeah. Well, I mean, what are you people coming up with?
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm not going to say no.
Okay.
I'm not planning on it, but,
If one popped across your screen, you may...
Sword in the Stone, as an example, may pop in the DVD player. Yes, that could happen. It's not planned, but...
Jungle Book, maybe?
I don't own the Jungle Book, oddly enough.
Okay.
Could watch Cars, although that's not really Disney. It's Disney light.
Yeah. Pinocchio?
Pixar.
Would you watch Pinocchio?
Pinocchio, not one of my favorites.
Peter Pan?
Maybe.
Jamie, do you have any old... Disney DVDs that you have a desire to see, Cinderella or anything like that?
I do not have any Disney DVDs.
Okay.
No. Or VHSs.
Or VHSs left over from when the girls were young. Okay.
Those could be worth some money, though. In the big white boxes.
The big white boxes.
The boxes are massive.
Yeah, they are massive. Man, they would take up so much
They were
space.
massive then.
Yeah, so much space. All right, so Texas Tech announced its 2026 Athletics Hall of Fame inductees yesterday, those to be inducted. It's really a very impressive list. And I guess the other thing when you think about it is, at least when I started hearing all these names, like, God, I kind of feel older now because when I think of people getting into a Hall of Fame, that's like a pinnacle of a career, right? And you think of them being, not that they all have to be older, but they generally are a little bit older. But, even Joe Filani, he's not played here in 20 years. That's shocking to me to think that, that Filani was here from 2003 to 2006 and that 20 years is just, it's just gone by like that.
Yeah, I mean, a guy that it feels like, just yesterday was out there catching passes and making plays for us in the Insight Bowl and all that good stuff. So, yeah, it goes by quickly.
And we'll get to Eric Gutierrez, but the guy that surprised me that he was not in the Texas Tech Athletic Hall of Fame, and look, you can't get everybody in, but I was kind of surprised that Rayford Young hadn't been in yet. I mean, he had a great career. the basketball was pretty good. It's not kind of where you are today, but I mean, he was all Big 12 3 times. He had over 1,500 points, 400 assists, 173 steals. He's fourth in program history in steals and assists. He was a terrific player. And so that was like, oh, wow, didn't realize that he wasn't in yet, right?
Yeah, immediate impact guy, even as a freshman, was a really good player for you. So just continued to, have big moments. Had that huge game against Kansas. I mean, just, really fun dude and a great player.
The induction that will come up this fall for Eric Gutierrez, is he like the first of your era of doing games that's made it to the Hall of Fame?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And deservedly so, right? I mean, he would be the guy, like, from when you started doing the games, he would be probably the first guy that you would have thought that would have gotten into the Tech Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and I wouldn't guess there'd be too many more as far as the baseball guys during that era. From that era, I mean, they're great
Mm-hmm.
players, but it was kind of at a different level, right? I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Josh Young made it in, but Goot was. I mean, he was the leader, no question.
I would be shocked if Stephen Gingrey and Davis Martin didn't make it as well. Eventually, I would be shocked if Grant Little didn't make it.
Shocked?
Yeah. For the Texas Tech Hall of Fame, yes.
I think Davis and Gingrey have a shot. I wouldn't guess Grant Little, who only played 2 seasons at Texas Tech, is going to be in.
Well, it's voted on by the players. And the ones that are nominated and the cheered for and we remember and all those things, that's how
Grant was a terrific player.
Yeah.
I mean, great player.
And there's one of the things that they were talking about yesterday in the press conference was that, this is completely player driven. The player, every player at Texas Tech throughout history has a vote in this, and it's who they're voting for is who gets in. And
yeah,
I that's why I would put Little in that category.
Well,
did you put him in front of Josh Young?
No, well, you mentioned Josh.
Oh, okay.
Well, the other thing that you have to remember is there's more than just baseball players that vote for this thing too. I mean, everybody's going to have their people that they want to get in. It's hard to get in. I mean, look at Rayford Young. I mean, he's probably the oldest of those that are going in, but it's been 30 years since he's played here.
Yeah,
as a freshman, I should say. Mm-hmm. So it was, and it's nice to see a guy like Louis Vasquez get honored as well. I mean, he was part of those really good offensive lines, for Texas Tech.
Feels like well-deserving 3-time All Big 12 selection.
Yeah. And then you start looking at some of the other names on this list. Jillian Hinkle. Hinkle. I'm sorry. I don't want to say Hickle. Jillian Hinkle, who played for Coach Stone from 11 to 14, and then
she was a fantastic player. Yeah.
And Bradley Adkins. A high jumper, and you kind of, he was the start of that, like, high jumper here,
Yeah, competed in the Olympics.
Yeah. And then, I certainly don't want to leave out, who was the other one?
Hannah Carson.
Hannah Carson, thank you.
Also track and field.
Yeah, also track and field, right. Through the javelin, runner-up in both 2015 and 2016. She went 200 feet 9 inches. And her final throw is a Red Raider. So that's 2/3 of a football field. Okay, when you start thinking about it, that's 69, almost 70 yards. 70 yards would be 210 feet, but still 200 feet that's a heck of a heave.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Okay, gentlemen, I'll ask you 2 questions today. I want you to rank the top 3 quarterbacks in the Big 12 Conference. And I want you to tell me where you think, if he's not in the top 3, where you think Will Hammond should land in your ranking of 16. If you just want to give a general area for Will, it's up to you.
Okay. Well, I think Bear Bachmeier from BYU is 1. I think Avery Johnson is going to have a resurgence under Colin Klein. I think Colin Klein is going to make him into the quarterback that they really want him to be at K-State. And I think Drew Mestamaker from Oklahoma State will have a big impact because he knows Eric Morris's offense. He knows what Eric Morris wants to do. He's got a lot of his playmakers around him. If he can get protection up front.
Pretty much all of them.
Pretty much all of them. Yeah, pretty much all of them. Where do I see Will Hammond? Middle of the pack going in, just because there's an unknown. So I'll say 6th, middle of the pack.
Okay.
I guess middle of the pack would have been 8, right? I just keep getting that wrong.
I was gonna let it go, Chuck.
I know, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that, but then I realized as soon as I said 6th, I realized that's not middle of the pack. So I'll stick with.
That's the high end of the middle of the pack. You're fine.
I'll stick with 6. Yeah.
I mean, the pack is a big thing.
Yeah.
I've got Dampier 1, Brockmeyer 2, and I'm with Chuck that Messmaker from Oklahoma State is going to be number 3. It's just where I've got Hammond as we start the season, somewhere around 10. And I only say that because he's not going to need the numbers that these other guys are going to need to put up. That doesn't mean he's incapable, but you're not going to be having to put up 60 points a game anymore. You're not happy putting up 45 points a game anymore. And with that kind of mentality, you're going to be running the ball a lot in some wins to kill the clock at the end. So his numbers are going to be limited that way to have him come down in the quote-unquote power rankings kind of thing.
Okay. I'm drastically different than you guys. Shocker.
Well, because you're smarter, so you're probably your list is probably better.
I for one I'm swayed a little bit by veteran quarterbacks that I've seen and feel like they're really good quarterbacks within their current system. So number 1 on my list is Noah Fafita from Arizona. I think he's the best quarterback, all around quarterback in the conference. Number 2 on my list, I'll take Bachmeier there. He may not be necessarily the best skills, but I think he's a terrific leader, and he's a guy that just finds a way to get it done. And so I just think he's going to only get better. And number 3 on my list, I don't think he's just again, loaded with all the skills that NFL people are going to want, but Connor Wegman is 3rd on my list for Houston. A veteran who can throw, who can run, who's accurate, who understands how to read defenses, really smart guy. So I want to see Mestamaker be able to compete at this level. I think it's a different deal than what he was doing before. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be good though, but I want to see that first. Devin Dampier, I think a lot of people are high on him. I'm not nearly as high as on him as others are. As far as where I think Will Hammond deserves to be right now, I'm probably closer to Jeff. I feel like he's somewhere in the 8, 9, 10, 11 range is where he deserves to be ranked right now. I think by the time the season is over, he's closer to where Chuck is. Okay? In the 5, 6, 7 range. But I think right now he deserves to be a step back.
Yeah.
We've got to see more consistency from him. I think we will. I think we'll see him just be a lot better with getting first team reps every week and all of that good stuff, and putting together an offense that fits him, all of those things. I think he will earn the right to be ranked a lot higher than where I have him now. But right now, 8, 9, 10, 11 seems like it's an area where it seems fair to me. Okay. But yeah, I'm 100%. And I think there's a bit of a gap from Fafita and to anybody else. I don't think either one of you two even had him on your list.
We didn't.
I think by far he's the best quarterback in the league.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe shows you something right there, but not in a positive manner.
Well, I mean, what I see with my eyes from previous, I think a lot of people are really high on DJ Legway and what he can do. What's it going to look like? I mean, he had a ton of talent around him at Florida, and it didn't look great. He's not going to have nearly as much talent around him at Baylor.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how it's going to somehow get better, But Avery Johnson, I think you made a decent point about, with Colin Klein, you expect him to be better. But I don't know. I just think Avery Johnson doesn't have the high ceiling that we once thought he did.
Some thoughts here. Lance says, don't sleep on Fafita. That dude is an NFL type guy. That's, Jamie brought that point up.
Yeah, I worry that he's a little bit too short, but you know what? It seems like there's been shorter NFL quarterbacks have success now.
Kyler Murray's probably going to be the starting quarterback for the Vikings. I'm having a hard time understanding the hype around Bachmeier. He doesn't have a receiver room to speak of. He's a good player, but one-dimensional due to the pieces around him. I hope Will doesn't have to play a second half this season. Put him in bed early and stay there. Okay.
Let's go.
Noah falls down on my list due to lack of supportive pieces. So.
That's fair.
Okay, so.
But he didn't. I mean, Ted Aroa had graduated and was gone last year, and he was still really good.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Sure, we can all relate to that, right? Hey, good morning. It is the Morning Drive, Power Hour, here on the Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. I feel like this whole week has been full of Power Hours. I mean, we've had a lot of activity with the guys going to Big 12 Media Days, and you can go to doubletsportsnetwork.com and find a whole bevy of content and interviews and nuggets and things along those lines for you to spread far and wide to your friends, tailgate buddies, your bar buddies, your folks that you run into in church, what the local watering holes, whatever it is that you do with your time on the weekend.
I think that we should mix it up. I mean, the guys that went this year should not be allowed to go next year. The guys that stayed here get the honor of going next year.
Get the honor of going? Well, I'd love to go. It just doesn't make sense because there's nothing going on from 6 to 9 in the morning.
Oh, we didn't know that you didn't talk other hours of the day, Chuck.
I talk, I would say probably out of the 24 hours in a day, I probably touch about 19 of them would be my guess.
Man, that's not enough sleep, dude. I
know. Well, I mean, of course, I get that power hour nap, between about 9:15 and 10:10, or maybe 10. I wake up in time to watch the news, and then sometimes I fall asleep during the news, and then it's off to bed I go. This question from the Yates Flooring Center chat line off the Double T 97.3 mobile app. Guys, do you believe Tech tampered with Brendan Sorsby? I'm not buying it. Well, let's define tampering. Did they talk to him directly? Probably not. Did they talk to his representatives or get a feeling just like everybody else was doing? Probably so, right?
I would think so.
I mean, does that make it illegal? I don't necessarily think so.
No, it's not illegal.
Yeah.
You can talk to his representatives.
Yeah.
And his representatives can talk to him.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't be reaching out to them, to the actual player.
Mm-hmm.
That I think is a different level But what do I think that Texas Tech did before the season was over? I sure do. And do I just assume that they did. And do I think others did too? And do I think others have done the same with our players? Absolutely.
I mean, who's to say that Brendan Sorsby's people didn't reach out to us and others, right?
That's true. That's true.
You know, I mean, they could have made the phone call first. Said,
absolutely.
You know,
Fair
hey,
enough, Chuck.
Brendan's not going to go back to Cincinnati. He's looking for a home. Be taking a look at him over the last 4 to 5 weeks and see if he's somebody you'd be interested in, and we'd be interested in talking.
Feels like that would be a smart move by the agent.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's what's done all the time. So I think Scott Satterfield was just trying to shift the attention. Hey, don't look over here. Look over here. You know.
Or just finding any way he could to throw shade at Texas Tech.
Yeah, deflected off of him.
Yeah.
I thought Coach McGuire had an interesting comment with regard to all of this. He said, the people that talked about it the most were the conferences and the ADs. I hate that President Skubinik and Kirby Hocutt had to deal with that. The one thing, whenever people bring up the integrity, that was interesting, of a lot of people that said and used the word integrity. Harry Miller was my principal at Cedar Hill, and he used to say, when you open your mouth, you better make sure your closet is clean when you start pointing at other people. And it's interesting, a couple of people that use the word integrity, and I don't think their closets are clean. So whenever I look at it, I could completely understand when people talk about the integrity of the game, betting on the game, and everything like that. But as far as our integrity and how we dealt with everything, there was nothing that Texas Tech ever did other than support our players. Yeah, there's a lot to be said from that. The other thing that's really interesting to me is how, because look, at the end of the day, if you're looking to kind of rally your conference and kind of get the season off to a good start, Big 12 Media Days really didn't go that way for Brett Yormark and the conference as a whole, did it?
No, it did not.
And it's clear too that there's and it's I guess on one hand, and it's hard to understand, but maybe on the other hand, it's easy to understand. But still, it's like with all things that have taken place in the history of ever in college sports, it just seems everybody's really chippy towards Texas Tech. And well, obviously we're all close to it, and it's sensitive to us. But the thing that I wonder about is these relationships as you're going forward. Can it be repaired? Can somewhat of trust, or you feel like that you've got a true partnership? Can it be restored, or are people going to have to leave over the course of time, whether it's here or there or everywhere, in order to get some kind of where you feel like there's a coalition that's being built?
Have you ever had a coworker, Chuck, that you don't particularly care for, but you still are able to work side by side with them?
Yeah, sure. So that's kind of how you feel like this is?
That's what I feel like it's going to be.
Okay.
I think the damage that has been done, I don't think will ever be, quote unquote, forgiven by Kirby Hocutt. Mm-hmm. Okay, towards the Big 12 Conference. I don't know what the Big 12 per se, why they're going to be angry at us the whole time. I'll say, hearing that about the meeting last Tuesday or whatever, just hear me out with this. And I know it's not his only role, okay? But the fact that the Big 12 commissioner had to sit down and have a conference that included, have a conversation, a dinner, a conference with people that included the biggest booster of a school, that's probably not something he was thrilled with having to do. It's one thing for him to sit down with an AD or a president, but him having to sit down with the school's biggest booster and kind of what's become the face of the athletic department, that probably wasn't something he really was thrilled to do. Probably if you said 10 years ago you're going to do that, he's like, no, that's not going to happen in college sports. but it is.
It's the way of the world.
Yep, and had to listen to what he had to say. Hey, I bet that wasn't real fun for him.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet973.com.